Welcome to the Albert and Billy Show here on WUAT Radio and Channel 18 Valley TV. Hello, Papa.
One more time, Billy. Does this make 2 years we've been doing this?
I don't know.
Seems to me like it's been a good little while.
Yeah, it has been. It has been a little while.
Do I look older?
Well, no.
I thought my hair might be whiter.
Might be.
Or have less hair.
Yeah.
Than when we started.
What episode are we on now, Allie? 47.
Well, I'm talking about all together since
I know.
Since you made me come up here.
Yeah, it has been 2 years, and we are fixing to go into our second season on Channel 18, so that's good.
Well, that's progress.
That's progress.
Can you imagine what it'd be like after 10 more years? I'll be 92.
I know it. Still stubborn as ever. But we're talking about the solar eclipse that's coming up on August 21st, and you can see it here in Pikeville and a lot of the surrounding towns of Pikeville. And I've never seen one, obviously, in my lifetime. It's going to be around 1:30 in the day.
99 years.
Yeah. It's going to be at 1:30, I think.
Well, how long will it last now? 2 minutes? A little over 2 minutes?
It don't last very long, but I think it's more than that. But it's not very long.
Just a little over 2 minutes, the best I recollect.
Yeah. It'll be amazing to see. It'll be amazing to see.
Probably be so dark you can't see it.
It might be. That's what's going to be so weird about it. It's going to be dark in the daytime. That's going to be wild. And there are events in just about every town. There's one in Pikeville at the Little Blue Field. The gates open at 11, and they're having an event at the Little Blue Field down by your house.
Well, school will be going on, so don't you know the science teacher and history teacher, everybody's going to be zeroing in on the events of that day.
Well, they're making a decision, actually, about that. They may let school out early.
Oh.
Yeah, and I can see them doing that. I can see them doing that because this is not
now, what time are we
a regular
talking about?
thing.
No, but is it going? It's going to be in the afternoon, evidently.
Yeah, like 1:30.
Okay.
So I'd say they'll let school out that day, especially since they will just barely be back in school by August 21st. So I think they'll let them out. They may. We'll see. They're making a decision next week.
They being the school board.
School board. But go check it out though at the Little Blue Field. Check out the solar eclipse. That'll be, well, a memory for a lifetime.
Well, not many people live to be 99, so I'd say it'd be many lifetimes.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy it just happens that rarely.
Everything's got to be synchronized for it to happen just perfectly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dealing with big bodies here when you're talking about the size of the Earth and the size of the Moon. And all these factors go into play, and so it's very, very rare that things will line up that way.
That's true.
But isn't it amazing that technology has gotten to the point that they can tell us in advance that it is going to happen? Don't you imagine years and years ago when it happened, nobody was waiting on it?
Yeah, that would be truly...
Hey, what happened?
Mysterious, yes.
Go to kiss your wife and you can't find her.
Yeah, they probably thought. There's no telling what they thought.
Hey, honey, where are you?
Well, and we got a Bluegrass Festival coming up August 11th and 12th, Papa. Tell us about that.
That's not too far away.
No.
August 11th and 12th. And you know, these Bluegrass Festivals occur on a regular basis so that they give you just enough to keep you whetted.
They do,
so that you want more, and that's wise.
That is wise.
You don't want to flood the market. If you flood the market, you drive down the price, you drive down the cost.
Exactly.
Keep everybody on their P's and Q's.
Mm-hmm.
You will hear on that day at the music shelter at Edmund's Music Barns, where it's going to be, rain or shine that way. You will hear Cannon Creek. I believe that's the name of clothing. Cumberland Mountain Boys. Don Good, Double Cross, and of course the old standby, the Edmonds family.
The host of the event
I don't know how old Lewis is, but he's been around a while, and he still does plunking. Fredonia Bluegrass, Grandview Mountain Pickers, just passing through. Boy, they worked on that in a long time. Mountain Road, and Subject to Change Band.
I just can't figure that one out.
Now there had to be a lot of reasoning into that to come up with that.
I want to know the reason.
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
I don't either, but I want to know.
You wouldn't make a stab in the dark and say, hey, let's pick this word, let's pick this word, put it all together.
We need to have them come on our show and tell us why they named their band that, yes.
Okay, but this Bluegrass Festival is going to be over a period of 2 days. It will be on a Friday and on a Saturday. On Friday, it will not start until 7 p.m., but it will go on until you're so tired you'll want to go home. On Saturday, it will begin at noon, and it will last till late that night, I'm sure. You must pay to get in unless you slip in. The charge will be $5, but if you are under 12, they'll let you in free as long as you can get an adult to claim you as their child.
Or just go with an adult, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to find out more about it, you can call Gary. He's at 533-2720. Or he has one of those other kind of lines, 322-3602.
That'd be a cell phone.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was. Let me tell you, up there at the Edmonds, it's family oriented.
It is.
Families come and they enjoy. They park and they stay for. Well, they don't wait till Friday to come. They probably come a day or two earlier. They have concessions and they have crafts and all these things are set up for entertainment. But at the same time, some of these things may be some necessities that you have been made aware of, and so they're there for you. It's at the Edmonds Music Barn, 9 miles north of Pikeville on 127. It's 18 miles south of Crossville.
That's right.
So either way, if you're traveling north or south, you find the 9 Mile Bluegrass Festival.
And it's a good show. Good food too. Good concessions.
Wholesome. No alcoholic beverages. Leave it at home.
That's right. That's right. Okay, and it's time for last week's trivia.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Really glad you asked. This week's trivia.
Last week's trivia.
Okay, I want you to name the 4 top Saturday movie Western stars that were right here next door.
Well, you ended up
back in the last century. I realize that.
You said a few last like Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers is probably the number 1, really, to be realistic.
Yeah.
And another one was the singing cowboy that got some of our Christmas songs.
Yeah. Gene Autry.
Gene Autry. He was one of the standbys, and he was probably he came in probably number 2. But you'll never guess the others.
Well, I wasn't around. I don't know.
You weren't around. If you were,
well, tell us.
Well, Hopalong Cassidy he always wore black.
Part of Butch Cassidy.
And the Sundance Kid, yeah. But Hopalong Cassidy was, he always had on a black shirt, black pants, black hat, and he had a white. To the Lone Ranger on the radio before movies. You had the William Tell Overture, which is a fancy classical piece of music. But that was the song, that was the music that accompanied his program as it came on the air and went off there. The William Tell Overture. But anyway, Lone Ranger had an Indian friend, Tonto. Now you remember,
I've heard of him, obviously.
Lone Ranger only used silver bullets.
Right.
And he had a white horse too. His horse's name was Silver. And his Indian friend Tonto had a horse named Scout. That's
been a trivia question before.
Yeah. But anyway, it was big time on Saturday because you got to see the movie that afternoon. If you had 11 more cents, you could go back and sit that night. Or 14.
So crazy.
You don't believe me, do you?
I do believe you. It's
Question number 2. Who were the also rans, the B-grade movie westerns?
If I don't know the Rands, I'm not going to know the also Rands.
But now, you may not have ever heard of any of these, but they were important because you couldn't have those same 4 every Saturday. So you had, somewhere along the way, you had a cowboy named Tim Holt. You had a cowboy named Johnny McBrown. You had a cowboy named the Cisco Kid. You might have
heard of him.
You've heard of him. He had a little sidekick too. The Durango Kid.
Yes.
Charles Starrett was his name. Zorro.
Oh yeah, the Mask of Zorro.
Yeah. Buster Crabbe.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. That's probably one of the older ones. And then Lash LaRue.
Mm-hmm.
He had a whip.
I've heard all those names actually.
Well, I'm glad, but I called them B-grade westerns. Really, I did. But now I'll tell you. You remember Cheryl that worked at the Bledsoe office? Settles. Cheryl Settles.
Yes. Yes.
Her husband John.
Mm-hmm.
He could tell you every western star from ground level all the way up to the top of the building. He knew them all.
He used to write for the Bledsoe.
He had such interesting. Let me tell you, that man had. He could go back to when he was 2 and 3 years old and remember all these things. It was uncanny, really uncanny. Okay, question 4. No, question 3. In most westerns, you could count on 3 constants that always happened in a western movie. 3 events that always took place in a western.
Gunfight.
A gunfight out on the street. We got to settle this score. You shoot and I'll shoot and we'll see who dies.
Mm-hmm.
You draw and I'll draw.
I mean, they'll have to go into a saloon.
All right, the saloon fight has to take place because you got to break all those glasses.
Yeah.
And the mirrors.
There's going to be horses in it, of course.
And on the horses, you're chasing the crooks, and it's the posse chasing the crooks.
Yeah.
And you always probably wind up in a box canyon where they can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I said a while ago that Buster Crabbe was one of your western movie actors, but Buster Crabbe was also the first Tarzan that we ever had on the screen.
Okay.
The second Tarzan we had, his name was Johnny Weissmuller. How did Johnny Weissmuller get the role of Tarzan?
Buster Crabbe must have got sick. Something happened.
That's a good thought.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Weissmuller had won the Olympics in swimming, and much of the Tarzan movies he would be fighting a crocodile under the water, you know, and all these things. And of course, all you have on is
that don't mean he can act worth a flip, though.
Well, who says you have to act if you can go like an ape?
Okay.
He just beat his chest and yell, and I'm Tarzan, you know. Hey, boy, come on, boy.
Yeah.
So it was. That's how he got it. Is because of his ability to swim and what he could do in the water and everything. But he's the only Tarzan I look back to. I don't have another.
Allie, our producer, just made me yawn, dadgummit. I looked up and seen her yawn, and I tried to fight it, and I couldn't.
Didn't bother me a bit. You go ahead, Addie.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
Addie, you yawn anytime
There's
you want to.
definitely some truth to that.
Okay, now this one, the next question. You did get it last week. Name the actor that was the one that played in The Mask.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, you got that one.
Yeah, he's funny.
That was a good movie.
That's from 1994, so it's more my era, you know.
How old were you in 1994? 20?
I was a teenager.
All right, the next question. It's the last
I was
question.
like a freshman or sophomore.
The first game show I ever saw on television. Of course, we're going back in the late 50s, early 60s.
I knew that trip to the 90s didn't last long.
The MC for this game show's name was Jan Murray. How much could people win on that first game show that Albert saw? I'm assuming it was the first game show on television, but we didn't get a television until, I don't know.
Let's Make a Deal?
No, it was older than that. But what I'm trying to get at is the money that they paid out sounded tremendous.
At that time,
Because the name of the show was $1 a second.
Oh, I'd have never guessed
Can
that.
you imagine making $1 a second? People were enthralled at the idea, hey, that's a lot of money. Well, come to think of it.
There's a catch, I'm sure.
Well, by the time you got through with all the commercials and all the small talk and everything, well, I bet you didn't have to pay out but just a few $100s a week.
Yeah, that's true.
But it sounded at the time, golly, I can make $1 a second.
Well, you should have went and been on the show. You should have auditioned.
Whatever happened to $1 Million Pyramid?
Yeah, I know.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Yeah, $1 a second.
$1. Jan Murray. I don't remember what year it was, but that's a long time ago. Okay, we ready for this week's trivia?
Oh, I don't know. That's next.
Oh, you don't want me to do
That's
next week?
next.
I mean this week's trivia.
Well, I do, but not right now. But I'll let you after the break. That's coming up next.
All right.
On the Albert and Billy show, it'll be next week's, well, this week's
This
trivia.
week's trivia.
You got me saying next week. This week's trivia is coming up next, plus sports of all sorts right here on the Albert and Billy show on WUAT radio on Channel 18, Valley TV. Hey. All right, welcome back to the Albert and Billy show on WUAT radio and Channel 18, Valley TV. We're sponsored by, oh gosh, here we go, The Loom. Right next door to us on Cumberland Avenue.
Judy.
Go see Miss Judy Yates for all your quilting and fabric needs, plus flowers at The Loom. Bilbrey Insurance, go see Frank and Susan Bilbrey for all your insurance needs. They specialize in Medicare. Go see Matt Massengill down at Farm Bureau Insurance.
South end of town.
Yeah, right by the high school. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go see Matt Massengill and his friendly staff for all your home, auto, and life insurance needs. Sponsored by Subway on the bypass. You can get breakfast after 7 a.m. Sponsored by Little Mountain Video on Highway 30 West on top of Wheeler Mountain. They got the best pizza in town.
Out
You
of
can
town.
also get gas and movies and groceries, just a little bit of everything. Owners Philip and Angela Hankins. Citizens Tri-County Bank right here in downtown Pikeville, longtime sponsor. Also sponsored by Erica Campbell, her business, Beyond the Basics Hair Salon, which has moved to downtown Pikeville at the old State Farm Insurance location. Scotty's right here in downtown Pikeville. They got the Little Burgers. Go see Vicky and Mitch Campbell, owners of Scotty's Restaurant.
What about the
A
courthouse?
legend here in town. And then Emma Boynton and Carolyn Terry, lovely ladies at the courthouse, plus Lisa Wheeler and Zach Ollendorf.
Zach Ollendorf. I know what he does.
Thanks to all of our sponsors for the Albert and Billy show.
And future sponsors out there too. We like you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
How many could we handle? How long could you talk?
I know I do all the talking on that. I want to make you do some of it.
Well, I do a lot.
Well, anyway, it's time for this week's trivia.
This week's trivia. Who gets the trivia? If I were to let
Depends
you,
on what it's about.
if I were to let you get the trivia, I guarantee you, I bet you a $5 bill against a hole in a donut, I wouldn't get one of yours right.
Right.
Because you would have all your questions after 2000.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
They'd at least be after 1980.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
We understand each other. Question number 1. On the day that one of our presidents, John F. Kennedy, was assassinated, name the 4 occupants in the car other than the chauffeur.
The chauffeur.
How do you spell that?
I'm not even going to attempt that. T-H-A-T.
There you go.
Well, Jackie O, his wife, was in the car. I
We know
remember
that. Yeah, Jackie and John F. Kennedy. That was 2. That's
That's
half.
2
I said
of
4. I said 4.
Was the vice president in there with him?
No.
He looked, yeah, because he'd have been dead too.
Well, the vice president took over as president. You know, what was his name?
One at Lyndon Johnson.
Lyndon Johnson. So he was not in the car.
But I've never paid attention to who the other victims were, though.
Well,
I mean, did it kill anybody else?
No, he's the only one that got
Okay.
killed. But now the other man in the car did get shot.
Did he?
He was the governor of the state of Texas. That's
Well,
where
that
it
makes
happened.
sense because that's where
It's
he was.
in Dallas.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Second question. Name the man that fired the shots that downed the president.
Oh, I always get him and Abraham Lincoln's killer mixed up. Is it John Wilkes Booth?
That's Abraham Lincoln.
That's Lincoln second. Who was it, Allie?
Look, let me tell you. JFK's assassin.
Because I do know this. It's just not coming to me.
You should. This is history.
I know, but I can't think
Let me
of his
give you
name.
a clue. He ordered his gun that he shot him with for $12.78. Does that help you?
That's crazy.
He did. He got the gun.
Oh, this is making me mad because I really do know that. I can't think of his name. But I know that a lot of people don't think he actually done it either. There's huge conspiracy theories on that.
Oh, I'm sure there are, and probably always will be.
Yeah.
Okay, third question. What movie actor is known as the Duke in Hollywood?
John Wayne.
Hey, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to put that down. You got one right.
Absolutely.
And you got half. And you got half of the other one right.
That's right.
Fourth question. Name our number one. Name our first man in space. First man to.
Oh, I don't know about in space. I don't know about that. I know Neil Armstrong walked on the moon first.
Okay, but you can't go to the moon to begin with. You got to go in space.
Yeah, I don't know it. I don't know that one.
Okay. Next question. Who was John Glenn?
He said John Glenn.
That's in the space program too.
Oh, he was? Oh.
I'll give you a clue.
I guess he was an astronaut.
That's right, but what did he do? What did he do? If he's in our space program.
I guess he...
What did Russia call theirs? We called ours, what did you say?
Astronauts.
Astronaut.
Do they not call theirs astronauts?
Cosmonauts.
Cosmonauts.
Cosmo.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
I've heard of John Glenn too, but I don't know what he did.
Who was Yuri Gagarin and where was he from?
No clue on that one, bud.
Yuri.
Never heard of him.
Y-U-R-I, Gagarin. Where, what country? Who, well.
He sure ain't from America.
Next question.
He's not from here, I'll tell you that.
Next question.
What do you think of who shot JFK?
While we're on that subject, what year was John F. Kennedy shot?
This is 1963, 62.
All right, 1963. All right. You're right, Billy. I'm so proud of you. You're my grandson. Then the next question. To end the Civil War that lasted from April the 12th, 1861 to April the 9th, 1865, who signed the surrender? Two men.
Civil War.
One from the Union forces and one from the Confederacy.
Was Lincoln one of them?
Lincoln was the president.
He was the president.
He was president of the Union. He was president of the United States. But anyway, all right. It'll come to you. You should know that, Billy. Famous people.
Lee Harvey Oswald shot him. Dang it, I knew it. As soon as she said Lee.
I thought you were giving Lee Harvey Oswald his answer to that question.
That would be funny. What would you have said if I had done that? You'd be like, no, but that's another
I'd
answer.
say you got your wires crossed.
Lee Harvey Oswald, that was driving me crazy.
What's so amazing to me about that in 1963, we saw all this. I saw what happened to Lee Harvey Oswald. Do you remember what happened to Lee Harvey Oswald?
He got killed too, didn't he?
He got killed, but he was in the custody of the federal marshals.
And they still killed him.
They're taking him out of the building, and a man just walked up out of the crowd.
And shot him.
What was his name? Another question.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not asking that as a trivia question, but his name was Jack Ruby.
Oh, really?
Jack just walked up and killed him.
What did they do to him?
Well, I don't know. They probably said you did a good job here, but you know.
I bet he did.
You're talking about the conspiracy. Maybe he did that to protect someone else.
Oh, I've always heard that. I've heard Lee Harvey Oswald. A lot of people consider as collateral damage, the fall guy, whatever you want to call it. And there could be some truth to that.
Sure could be. You ought to write a book about that. Okay.
I know.
Next question. Which side struck first in the Civil War and where? The South or the North? Which side
completely guess
drew first blood, in other words? And where did it happen?
I don't even know who drew first blood, Papa.
But the Civil War, Billy, you had to study it in school.
I don't remember that.
That was a long time ago.
The South.
1861, wasn't it?
Yeah, the South struck first, maybe?
Yeah, you're right.
Somewhere in Virginia, maybe?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Williamsburg.
It was
Gettysburg.
It was in South Carolina.
Oh.
You're right, but you don't know.
I don't know. I'm totally guessing.
It was.
Lincoln gave.
Last question. Last question.
Bet off from the first.
On which side?
Since I studied this, folks.
On which side of the conflict did Stonewall Jackson serve?
South.
You good, buddy?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a passing grade.
Well, you need to. You need to, because I've not learned about that in a long time.
Okay, we're ready for sports.
I guess so, yeah.
Sports of all sorts.
I'm glad we thought of that name. That was bothering me. Yeah.
Lee Harvey Oswald. The comparison between the assassination of Lincoln and the assassination of Kennedy and the people that did it, the comparisons will blow your mind.
I know. No wonder I got it mixed up.
Because you've got a warehouse involved in both of them and a theater involved in both of them.
Yeah, that's weird.
And it just switches.
Yeah.
And the number of letters in each man's name are the same number of letters.
Well, that's eerie.
It gets weird. It gets weird.
That is.
Sports of all sorts. The Tour de France, or the Tour de France, as you prefer.
I love how you say it, though.
It's called the Tour de France.
I know.
It ended Sunday.
Thank God, I'm not interested in it.
Evidently not. But you remember the figures I threw around for you about those winners in the past? The $20 million and the $100 million and all these things, it's just unreal. But
Did that guy that you predicted to win?
Chris Froome won by 54 seconds over the second place finisher.
Well, that's not a blowout.
But it lasted for 3 weeks.
That's a long
21
time.
different stages. The course is laid out. You've got to do this on this day. You've got to do that on that day. Let me tell you something. This is pure aberration. No one told me to say this, and I didn't read it anywhere. I would not be surprised to think, to understand, to believe that that's the #1 toughest sport there is to test a man's stamina down to the core. 21 different days. And listen, Billy, they're cycling in the Alps, in the Pyrenees. Many of the stages are going up mountains, but coming down is just is more dangerous because of the speeds they achieve. 45 miles an hour on that little beat around tire, and many of them crash. Yeah. Many of them crash. 198 riders began the race, only 171 finished.
I don't blame them.
I don't know how much he won or anything about it. I don't know what kind of money there is involved.
Well, I'm sure it's a lot.
But anyway,
there should be for that long.
Lance Armstrong was one that had 7 titles. This man, that makes him 5.
Now Lance got stripped of his titles, though.
All 7 of them gone. And you remember I told you he'd paid out $20 million trying to defend himself. $20 million? Where'd he get that?
Yeah.
Won it.
Why would he do that, knowing that they're eventually going to find that he did cheat? I don't understand that.
Now this man, Chris Froome, had participated in the Olympics in 12 and 16, won a bronze medal each time. So he was good, but was not all that outstanding. He didn't win the gold, he didn't win the silver. But he had the wherewithal. He had a team that helped him. Like I told you one day, he had one of his wheels broke. And one of his team riders said, "Here, take mine." Well, they had to take time to take that wheel off and put another one on. But he still managed to win the Tour de France. The last day was
congratulations to him.
The last day was just 64 miles, and it was just a sprint into Paris. It finished up in Paris, France, the city of love. What city in the United States is known as the city of brotherly love?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Very good, very good. But Paris is known
I've been
as
there a couple times.
Paris is known as the city of love. Philadelphia is brotherly love. Okay. Now, also in sports, golf.
I remember one time, the story about Philadelphia, I flew from the Dominican Republic, a Caribbean island. So we're tropical, which it's December, you know, but we're in the Caribbean, so it's hot. It's warm weather, you're wearing shorts.
You're swimming.
Yeah. And then, so we fly back, and we had to fly to Philadelphia, and it was snowing. Here we are in shorts. And
Out
it
of
was
place.
snowing.
You were definitely out of place.
Yes. Is that not crazy?
Yeah, it's
All
crazy.
in one day. That was crazy.
Less than a day.
Yeah. But
Okay.
anyway, go ahead.
All right, golf. Have you ever played golf? Really? What do you shoot, 90?
Oh, I just played a couple times, so I'm not very good at it. Not very good at that one.
Okay, last Sunday, the British Open closed. It was over. And the fellow that won it was Jordan Spieth.
What a name.
Spieth, S-P-I-E-I-T-H. He shot a 69 on Saturday. And he beat Matt Kuchar by 3 strokes. This was the third leg of the Grand Slam. Now, what is the Grand Slam in golf? You got four major tournaments. Okay, in the tennis, what is one of them called? The U.S.
Open.
All right, the U.S. Open is one of the legs in the Grand Slam of golf.
I thought so, but I don't know the others.
Okay, the British Open is the second leg, and he won that Sunday. Okay, the PGA Championship will be held later, and he's not won that yet.
Is the Masters
But
one?
the Masters, that's the fourth. That's the biggie, in my opinion, of all the 4. But the Grand Slam of golf, in your career, you want to win each one of those legs.
Or at least one of them.
Well, you want to. Arnold Palmer never won all 4. He didn't have a Grand Slam. There's a lot of players that did not have a Grand Slam.
It's very hard to do. That's hard to do in tennis, too. to win
Well,
all.
5 men have done the Grand Slam.
In golf.
Gene Sarazen, I don't remember him. I think his first title was back in 1935. I was just born that year. But Ben Hogan, I remember. Ben Hogan was a great golfer. So his name is number 2, Gary Player. You should have heard of Gary Player. He's from South Africa. He's the 3rd player. Jack Nicklaus is number 4. And like I said, Arnold Palmer never did it. But the 5th one you should know, Tiger Woods.
Oh, yeah. Boy, he's
Tiger
in a
Woods won all 4 of those major championships, and then he went on the downward spin since then. Here you've got a man, Jordan Spieth, is 23 years old. 23. He's already legged 3 of those legs under him.
Oh yeah, he's got
he
a
just
bright future.
he just lacks the PGA Championship.
He'll get it.
Well, I'd like to think he will. But in the world of golf, on Saturday, a player by the name of Brandon Grace was out on the course playing in the tournament. He shot a 62. A score of 62 had not been recorded in 422 major tournaments over a period of 157 years. No one had ever carded a 62 on their scorecard at the end of the round, but he did it Saturday.
That's
62.
awesome.
A 62.
That's great.
Well, that's just not on her. It's now 63. 29 people had shot a 63 before. Very common stuff. But anyway, I want to tell you something. This year, I looked at the top 10, just 10. I looked at the top 10 golf finishers, how much they have won. 10 men so far this year have won $50,229,000.
Goodness.
Do you know how much he won Sunday? Over $2 million.
That's crazy.
Over $2 million.
I believe it. I believe it. They all win that much. favorite sport.
Where does the money come from?
Endorsements and things like that. Nike, Adidas, all these shoe companies, sports.
I think the major
companies.
cash.
And fans.
Well, the fans are the one that pays. They go through the turnstile to clip another. But I believe, here again, this is just pure Albert Einstein. I believe the number one factor, the one motivator, the one that keeps the flow going is television.
Yeah, commercials.
Commercials.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Well, like you said, some of those brand names, they're the ones that having the commercials done. Adidas and Nike
and they endorse some of the athletes.
And those men are out there playing. They've got a hat on that somebody told them to wear, you know, and a shirt's got somebody's name on the shirt. And maybe on their belt too, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is golf. Football. Tennessee this year is going to play on their schedule LSU. If you were going to play LSU,
okay, let's go to a break real quick. Okay, so we're back.
They're getting ready for that eclipse.
Yeah.
Okay, I just nonchalantly dropped a 3-letter word, LSU. That's not a word, but that stands for
Louisiana State.
Louisiana State University. Tennessee has got a new game on their schedule this year. Why in the world did they pick LSU?
Stupid, like they need another.
Ed Orgeron took over down there for Les Miles. Miles stood at 2-2 when he left. Ed Orgeron finished the year at 6-2. 6-2. Took them to a bowl. Why in the world did Tennessee want to play them? Of all the teams that you could play.
I don't know.
But I don't look forward to that game on the schedule.
I don't either.
We're going to have a hard enough time as it is, I believe. But anyway, everything coming out of K-Town is positive. Everything sounds good. This year, we've got 7 starters returning in the O-line. They say that's going to be our strength. O-line's going to be the strength. The weakness is going to be a defensive end. I think we're going to miss some of the players we graduated. And surely we're going to miss a quarterback by the name of Josh Dobbs.
We are going to miss him desperately, but hopefully one of the 2 up-and-comers can get it figured out.
Well,
before the end of August.
You got 5 new coaches.
But picking LSU up is really stupid. Really
and you know
stupid.
what? Tennessee at Chattanooga, UTC, they're going to play LSU this year too.
Well, they'll get
They're going to play
slaughtered.
LSU.
But they make big money off that.
Oh, you better believe they will. They get $750,000.
So I don't blame them.
They'll get $750,000 just for putting them on their schedule, I bet you. Tennessee's first game is September the 9th. We'll be playing Indiana State. We ought to win that one, don't you think?
Should win that pretty easily.
Not Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana State.
Indiana State.
Should beat them rather easily, I would think.
It'll come on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's where Larry Bird played basketball.
Hey, listen, did you read who our new football coach is going to be at Bledsoe County High School this year? He came to school last year one day and walked around and was talking. I said, well, hello, Dennis, how are you? And we had a little conversation. I didn't know he was going to be the new football coach.
He didn't tell you, did he?
No. I read it in the paper.
I guess it was well, he may not have known at that time, though.
Well, he had probably put in for it, and he was going around checking the school out to see if he really wanted it, maybe. But anyway, we talked a little while. He remembered me. All right. He seemed to. But anyway, we will be playing LSU. I don't know when we'll play them, but our first game is September the 9th. Now, don't forget that.
September 9th, Indiana State.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, our time.
I think they're called the Sycamores.
Sycamores.
That's what they used to be called, I do believe. I do believe so. Because, like I said, Larry Bird played basketball at Indiana State.
There you go. Hey, we can see what LSU looks like because that same day, at 6:30, they would be playing UTC.
Well, maybe that'll be on TV.
It will.
Oh, good.
It'll be on the SEC alternate network, Channel 28. Channel 28.
Good.
Okay, baseball.
Check it out.
Baseball. We'll wind this up here. Our Dodgers. Oh no, I beg your pardon.
Your Dodgers.
My Dodgers are currently in first place, 12 games in the lead. The Braves are in second place, 12 and a half games behind. The Cubs are in first place in their division.
Oh, good.
They're playing at
Well, they might repeat.
They're playing at a clip of 5.25. The second place team is 5.24. So there is 1/100th of a percentage point between the two. So you could say they're tied for the top.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Definitely.
my Dodgers have a sad bit of news. Our number one pitcher has won 15 ball games while losing 2, with an earned run average of 2.04. That means every time he's on the mound for 9 innings, he gives up 2 runs. If we get 3, we win the game. He has won 15 games and lost 2. He went on the disabled list after 2 innings.
Uh-oh.
He's on
Trouble
the
in
disabled
paradise.
list. We're hurting.
Trouble in paradise for
We're
your
hurting.
Dodgers.
We're hurting. I'll admit it.
I hate that for them Dodgers, I tell
Oh,
you.
I can tell.
Well, that's it for sports this week. Coming up after the break, it'll be good old Albertology.
We're
Right
ready.
here on the Albert and Billy Show.
We're ready.
All right, welcome back to the Albert and Billy Show. Right here on WUAT Radio and Channel 18 Valley TV. And of course, as always, you can check us out on YouTube. Every episode.
Do you ever watch us on YouTube?
Absolutely.
Is there only one tube? YouTube? There's
Yes.
not a B tube or a C tube?
No.
Some kid at school showed me a YouTube one day.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, here you are.
Did he?
Yeah.
It's crazy. The numbers are all over the place. We've had some videos do amazingly well. Like I never dreamed we'd get so many views on at least 10 of them. I think our top one is like over 30,000 views, and then you have some that'll be like 60 something views, and then it'll go to 200 views. It's all over the place. I don't understand. It's crazy how it works.
Could they smell our shaving lotion?
Oh no, we just went viral on several episodes.
But I mean, if we get 60, maybe it's the shirt I wore that day.
Well, those that are in that number range didn't go viral. I don't know how we got fortunate enough to go viral, like especially for 10 or more episodes. So thanks for watching, guys. Definitely.
I'm just glad the people
Crazy numbers.
I'm glad the people in Pikeville and Sequatchie County watch, and every once in a while we get a phone
Well,
call.
a lot of people watch us on Channel 18.
Or a letter.
We get a lot of fan mail, and we do thank you for that.
Getting some nice fan mail.
Yeah, we do appreciate it.
You better
We
believe
do
it.
not take you guys for granted.
All right, I've
Time
got
for Albertology.
Albertology. I'm ready. I'm chomping at the bit today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm chomping at the bit. Number one thing
You're always chomping at the bit. Who are you kidding?
about something.
Yes.
The textile mill.
That's huge news. I'm very excited about that.
Vicky could not go with me to check out a new couch the other day. I said, well, honey, why? This
You
is
had to go with
important.
this.
Well, I'm going to have dinner with the governor. I said, the governor of Tennessee? She said, yes. And she was serious.
Yeah. She had to go over there.
And so I figured what she was going for was to put in a good word to get me a job.
I could have
Way to
went
go.
to this event, but
Really?
I was very fortunate to be informed last minute that they were having some air conditioner issues, and I'm glad I didn't go.
Oh, well, okay.
You know how hot-natured I am. They said it was brutal, very hot. It was very, very good news. We've been praying for this for almost 15 years.
12 years, I
Finally.
think, since Dura closed. 12
At
years.
least. Probably 13 years now, because I believe they closed in 04.
Okay,
So we're-
I'll go along with you. The article
Too
just
long,
Said,
too
the article
long.
just said 12. That's what I was going by. But anyway,
It's too long.
this
That's
was
a
the
long
number
time.
one. This is the number one thing I ever want to talk about today.
Should be. Now, if we can just get Eclipse back on track, we'd have 2 factories.
Wow! But listen,
But 1,000 jobs is
1,000 jobs. What size payroll would 1,000 people gender? Can you imagine a payroll for
big. Gender,
1,000?
what? Gender?
Manufacturer.
Oh.
Well, how would you count it? How would you count it?
I don't know. I
A
don't
payroll
know.
for 1,000 people?
They are, wouldn't it?
But anyway,
You'd have to have several people working in the payroll department.
They'd have to be writing those checks, wouldn't they? But they won't start out with 1,000 people.
No,
but they're going to begin training and hiring workers in the next month or so.
Yeah, their target date's October. It's great.
Right. But this is the Textile Corporation of America is the name of the company, Chattanooga based. But they're going to put their headquarters here in Pikeville, Tennessee, on that 16-acre tract of land out there that they bought, by the way. They bought that building.
Yes, they sure did.
And they are serious because they're investing $27.1 million of money out of their pockets. We do not know what went on under the table, and I'm not saying they were trying to hide it, but we do not know what the city of Pikeville gave, the county of Bledsoe gave, the state of Tennessee gave, TVA gave, any entity at all that contributed to the glamour of them coming to Pikeville. We do not know what was given that company. But be that as it may, they're coming, and I'm glad they're coming.
Me too. Me too. I think everybody is.
I think it would not be unreasonable, in my opinion, to give them tax-free operation for 20 years.
I know.
I don't know what they gave them, but anyway, this is the biggest news. But here's the thing about it. Do you know what the figures for the Bledsoe County area is, population-wise? Less than 13,000. Less than 13,000.
Very, but it's close to 13,000 though.
Okay, but let's say 13,000. Population of Pikeville be less than 2,000.
That will go up now.
Okay, but our unemployment figures are 4.5. Our workforce is not 10,000 people or 12, 15,000 people. But
No.
how many hundreds of people in Bledsoe County don't have a job? So here's the thing about it. This is going to touch other counties around us. Every county that touches us will be touched, because we will need some people to come from their county to our county to work, to manpower the operation of this textile operation. They're going to be making bed linens for your hospitality, the nursing homes and things like that. They're going to be making apparel.
And hospitality, like for motels and stuff too. And,
but apparel will be clothing.
Under Armour clothing, yeah. Popular brand. And I think it's just great for the county and the city of Pikeville. It'll bring business here. It'll help the current businesses that are open. The restaurants will they'll benefit tremendously from this. When Dura closed, it shut a lot of business down, especially restaurants, because all those people were eating there, and all of a sudden they're gone. So now you're bringing 1,000 jobs. Just think how much that's going to help the restaurants here in Pikeville.
Reckon we'll have three car dealerships come back.
Maybe.
You know, I don't believe you ever really believed me, did you?
I do believe you. I've never said I didn't believe you.
3 car dealerships.
It's crazy how it changed.
3 or 4 furniture stores.
I know, like I wish we could get back to that.
And a movie, a theater.
I know, keep rubbing it in, Papa.
A hotel. Sunday, Samuel Cravens was apprehended after eluding a manhunt of gigantic proportions for 5 or 6 days.
Look at his face.
Anyway.
He looks weird, man. He looks weird.
Don't you think instead of them catching him, he wanted them to catch himself?
I know that's what happened. He got
tired of running. He got hungry.
He was in this severe heat, humidity, and probably starving and thirsting to death, and yeah, he gave up.
I don't believe he could get anybody to come and help him either.
He couldn't, or he'd have succeeded. He'd have been gone.
People don't like crooks, but people especially don't like crooks that fool with children.
No.
That's number one. And I bet you whenever he gets into a prison, he's going to find that out.
Yeah, he'll find it out. He'll be segregated, or because they have to do that, or they get killed.
I read where some prisons having some trouble with people being killed today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. But did you also?
But that's huge news because he was free for 6 days.
6 days.
6 days. We got a lot of calls about that.
That shows you we've got a lot of foliage that needs to be sprayed where he can't hide.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, this week, we saw the military strength of the United States flex its muscles to the tune of one ship weighing 100,000 tons being commissioned by the Commander-in-Chief, President Donald Trump, at Norfolk, Virginia. This one ship is going to be called the USS Gerald R. Ford, named after that president that served.
Mm-hmm.
And
I do remember that one. I don't remember him, but I know that name.
Okay, how many people did we say lived in Pikeville? Less than 2,000.
2,000 and then 13,000 in the county.
I'd say there's probably 1,700 in Pikeville. But anyway, this ship is going to be the size of about 3 Pikevilles or more. 5,559 sailors will be on board that ship. It will be nuclear powered. It will.
How did I miss this? Apparently, I didn't learn about it.
You don't believe me, do you?
I believe you, but I don't know anything about it.
Well, this happened on the 23rd. No, this was printed on the 23rd. It happened on the 22nd.
Okay.
But anyway, this ship, since it's nuclear powered, will have to be refueled every 20 years.
Wow. Every 20 years.
Every 20 years, you'll have to go in for fuel.
That's crazy.
Can you believe that?
No. That's amazing right there. I don't.
Here's what Trump said. He asked God to bless and guide this warship and all who shall sail in her. That was way to go, Trump. My brother Buster's was in Norfolk, Virginia for much of his tenure in the Navy, 20 years. Mm-hmm. He served out of Norfolk, Virginia. But anyway, this is to me, it's wonderful that we've got a president now that thinks that our might militarily needs to be stronger.
Well, that's good.
And we
want to stay strong.
He's going to do it. And he says, this message I'm sending to you as my enemy, think about the size of this nuclear ship, 100,000 tons. And then he said, to my friends and to the United States friends, we're on our way. We're here to help.
That's good.
I like it. I like it. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, Albertology. This is installment number 1. I've got 4 things I want to talk to you about. Number 1, I want to talk to you about movies. I want to talk to you about sports. I want to talk to you about gadgets. And I want to talk to you about television.
Okay.
But today, I want us to focus in on movies.
Okay. I can
Every
do that.
Monday. Now you all have the 10
top 10 countdown.
Top 10 countdown today.
Thursdays, yeah.
On Monday morning, when you open up the Chattanooga paper to page 2, you're looking at the top 10 movies of the past weekend and their gate receipts at the booth when you bought the tickets, how much was paid for 10 movies, the top 10. Top 10 countdown. All right. Over the weekend, Dunkirk was number 1 movie. That's a war movie.
Our producer is excited about that.
Well, over the years, Billy, back in the last century, after World War II, you had a lot of movies that came out about every little island that we took, Bataan and all these little places, Iwo Jima. Those became outstanding movies because it depicted that battle of that war, World War II. Okay, Dunkirk made the top 10, made number 1.
Number 1, so big debut.
All the way down to number 10, and the number 10 movie was Wish Upon, whatever that is. I don't have any idea.
But now, star, I don't know.
Now listen to this.
Wish Upon a Star.
These are not world. Listen, this is not what people around the world spend. This is domestic figures only, right here in the United States. 100.
What's up with this mic here, Papa? It's a little crazy on us here. How we sound on the radio, Allie? Is it going up? Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, these 10 movies over the weekend, people spent $173.4 million to go to the movie.
That's not surprising at all. I think even in the hardest of times, people still go to the movies.
Why?
Something to do, to de-stress, to get away.
I think that's number one.
Yeah.
You're a psychiatrist. Put out your shingle, boy.
I think that's it.
I'll say it's evident that we're not living in hard times.
Because of
when
that.
you consider that.
Yeah, and it's not cheap to go to the movies at all. Not like in your day.
Well, not compared to sports world. Going buying a ticket at a baseball game or a football game wouldn't be anywhere near what you'd pay for a movie ticket.
Right.
Wouldn't be anywhere near.
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive to go to the movies because the tickets are higher now, but also the food is outrageous. $13 a ticket now.
You can get up to $13
And I told you my first ticket was 11 cents.
I know. Big difference.
I wonder if there's anybody out there that ever went to the movie with me that night and paid 11 cents. Let me know. But wouldn't it be something if we could come up with a theater again here at Bible, Tennessee?
Well, I'm all for that.
Okay.
I'm all for that.
Now that's something I want to pursue. I want to go over the movies was one thing, but the sports world is number two.
Well, all you did was tell us number 1 and number 10.
Well, I didn't keep it. I just wanted to show you how much money people were spending on movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised.
And then I told you how much people were winning at golf.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous how much money is won on golf.
Well, that's every sport though. Every sport, true. They're very overpaid. I get that they're talented, and that's great and all, but they do not deserve that much money.
I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you. But what are we going to do about it?
Complain about it.
Complain.
I find that therapeutic.
Okay, one more thing about O.J. Simpson. We did talk about the fact.
God.
Well, we did talk about the fact that he won the parole, goes into effect in October. But here's what he told the parole board in Nevada.
No.
He said, "I have lived a conflict-free life."
Well, there's his first lie.
What?
He lies right off the bat.
Listen to that.
He's not changed at all.
I've had a conflict-free life. Okay.
I just cannot stand
There was a
him.
wife-beating charge in '89.
Yeah.
He was acquitted in 2001 of a road rage charge.
Yeah.
And he had a contempt of court citation in 2008, put him in jail for 5 days. And back in 1994, he was accused of murdering 2 people. He was acquitted in 1995.
Well, that's just because that jury was.
Later, he was found
brain dead.
liable for the killings of those 2 people and had to pay $30 million. And
that might have been the worst jury in the history of juries.
but then he ran from being arrested whenever they were going to arrest him.
I remember watching that because it was on all TV stations for hours.
Okay, what did the driver of the white vehicle, what did he say that O.J. was doing while he was driving?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Had a gun to his head.
Oh.
Conflict free.
Yeah.
But he's holding a gun to his head. He's going to...
He's stupid. I can't stand him.
Okay, but the police found Nicole Brown Simpson on the day they went to their home. She was saying, he's going to kill me. She had a cut lip, a black eye, and she called 8 months later, 911 again, and that was before she was killed. And then later on, she was, after he beat the door down and everything, later she was killed. But he says
she was murdered, and unfortunately, Ron Goldman,
a friend,
just happened to be at the wrong place, wrong time. He showed up, and of course, he tried to help her. Once he got there, he literally walked in on the murder, and that's why he was killed.
I'd say it is. But anyway, can you imagine that parole board? They granted him the parole based on what he had done or not done while he was in prison. But can you imagine the laughter that they enjoyed at him saying,
I have listened, say stuff like that.
I have listened. I have lived a conflict-free life.
I guarantee it, he will end up back in trouble.
No.
It won't be long.
No.
He'll write a book about it.
Yes.
Don't buy it, folks. Don't support him.
He'll have interviews with television. You just wait and see. Stories.
He don't deserve none of that.
Can I tell some stories?
Tell some stories, okay.
This man and his...
Now, are we talking about jokes or stories?
Jokes and stories. Look. Is it time?
Yes,
we're going to have another break, do we? Yeah, I'm going to tell you a joke. I'll tell you
Tell a few.
Okay. This man and his wife have been married a little over 60 years. Carol and I were married a little over 60 years. So they're elderly couple. You would call me elderly, wouldn't you?
Okay. Yeah.
I said, would you?
I guess. Is this a trick question?
No, it's not a question. You're my grandson. Am I elderly?
Yes, Papa, yes.
Am I real elderly?
No. See, I was being nice.
This couple had been married a little over 60 years. Throughout their marriage, they'd had a good relationship.
You and Nanny.
They didn't.
Maybe they're similar to you and Nanny.
They didn't keep anything secret from another. They got along real well. And the wife, though, had one top shelf in her closet, had a little box in it. Well, had a box up on the top shelf. I wouldn't say little. And she just told him up front, don't ever touch that. I don't want to discuss it. Just leave it alone. Well,
of course he's going to check that out.
No. He was a good husband. When Carolyn told me hands off, Carolyn didn't want to talk about the date that she had with that boy back in high school. I tried. She didn't want to talk about it. So this man never bothered the box up on the top shelf of her closet.
Okay.
They got along well. But one day, the wife gets sick. They bring the doctor in. She's too sick to go to the doctor. They bring the doctor in. He examines her. And then when he leaves, he tells the husband, your wife has a very serious illness. She's not going to recover. I'm sorry to tell you this. So the family all gets called in, and they're aware of the fact that their mother and the wife is going to die.
Okay.
So
far, this is not funny at all.
Listen.
It's really sad right now.
It's time now for the box, because
now he can check it out.
They've got to figure out what to do with this and that. Who's going to get this and who's going to get that? So he's getting all this stuff and saying, honey, what are you going to do? Because she's in bed. She's bedridden. And so here's the box. He brings the box to her bed and says, what about this, honey? She said, well, I guess it's time to open it. You just go ahead and open it.
Of course, yeah.
So he opens the box, and inside the box there's 2 crocheted little dolls. She had crocheted them herself.
Okay.
And a pile of bills that turned out to be $95,000. He looked at the dolls.
Whoa.
And he says to his wife,
what a secret.
honey, what does this mean? Well, I never told you, but said when we got married, my grandmother told me to never go to bed angry with you. Anytime that I got angry, I was to crochet a doll. And he looked at her, he looked at the 2 dolls. He started crying. He was thrilled to death to think that only 2 times in 60 years that she was angry with him. And he was so happy, but he was crying tears of joy, you know.
Yeah.
And he says to her, well, honey, that's just wonderful. But here she's going to die, you know. And he says, well, what about the $95,000?
Yeah.
Oh, that's from where I sold the dolls.
Yeah. I knew that was going to be it. So she would have been angry a lot.
That had to be Carolyn.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of her.
Oh, well.
That's funny.
Okay.
I bet his facial expression changed then.
He said,
To
die.
tears of
He
sadness.
probably said, die, darn you, die. These two, Mr. and Ms. Brown had 2 sons.
Okay.
And they named one of their sons Mind Your Own Business. Isn't that something? Does that make you think of Peekaboo Street? Why would a parent name a child Peekaboo Street? But they did, remember?
They did.
She was a skier. One of them's name was Trouble.
So mind your own business.
Trouble.
And trouble.
Mind your own business.
Okay.
Well, one day the 2 boys decided to play a hide and seek. Trouble hid while Mind Your Own Business was counting to 100 before he started looking for trouble. So Mind Your Own Business was looking for his brother out behind the garage and the bushes, everywhere he could think that he might have hidden, but he didn't find him. He had no luck. So he went looking a little further out and went over into the neighborhood yard and went on the other side of the house to the other neighborhood. And finally, a police officer noticed this boy going around through people's yards, just wandering in and out, you know. And so he approached the son and he said, "What are you doing?" "Playing the game," the boy replied. "What's your name?" "Mind your own business." And the officer said, "Are you looking for trouble?" He said, "Well, yes, I am."
I like that one.
Now listen.
Both of those were good.
One of the ladies that listens to our program and watches our program in Dunlap, Miss Kilgore.
Yeah, we get fan mail from her.
Yes, we do. She sent me about 20 pages of little ditties that I can use over the television and over the radio for people to listen to. I picked out a few just for people to hear today.
Okay.
Good moms have dirty ovens, sticky floors, laundry piles, and happy kids.
That's very true.
Let your house be lived in, is what she's saying.
Isn't that true?
I like it. I've learned that one of the best gifts you can give to the one you love is simply your time.
I like that too.
Children would like to have more time than they would have things.
Yes, that's true.
Women's faults are many, but men have only 2. Everything they say and everything they do. I was really feeling good about that. I only had 2 faults.
Yeah. And then so you hear it.
What is love? Love is the force that makes a woman sink into a man's arms, but winds up with her arms in a man's sink.
Yeah.
Wash the dishes.
Yeah.
That's why I want a wife. I want a wife to wash the dishes and mop the floors
true.
and
Amen.
wash the clothes and fold. You don't have a wife either, do you?
Come on down, ladies. You can wash my dishes and do my laundry,
How about cooking?
and we'll get hitched. And you can cook too.
Oh, they want to. Do you reckon anybody would want to get married? To you?
Well, sure.
How much money do you make a year? Don't say that. Don't tell them that.
Well, I've come close several times and I've backed out, but I think.
Did you back out or did they back out?
I did.
You backed out.
Yeah, I've had plenty of offers there, Papa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They'll be acting all surprised. But
Offers to be a wife? You've had people
to be a
offer,
husband, you mean?
No, people want to be your people want to be your wife.
Oh yeah. But that's not important. This isn't the Billy Bridges story here. So.
Okay. Well, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in therapy. Yeah.
Well, I'm not qualified to be a therapist. I don't have a wife either. Okay, give. Give to the hungry sweet charity, bread. Forgiving is living, the angel said. Must I be giving and giving again? The weary, wondering question came. No, said the angel, piercing me through. Just stop giving when the Lord stops giving to you. Stop giving when the Lord stops giving to you. How
That's
long,
good too.
How long should you show compassion?
Always.
As long as it's needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You were created on purpose for a purpose.
Yeah. That's true.
I like that.
And all those are from Miss Linda Kilgore.
Linda Kilgore.
Well, thank you, Miss Linda Kilgore. And, well, it's time to wrap it up now, but thanks for joining us today, folks, on WUAT Radio and Channel 18 Valley TV and YouTube as well. Don't forget, you can always watch all episodes of the Albert and Billy Show on YouTube. Just type in the Albert and Billy Show YouTube, and every episode will pull up for you. Until next week, that's it for the Albert and Billy Show.
See you, folks.